Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on governance, compliance and risk management. In this video we will discuss about the global trade tariffs and its effect on the operational risk management strategies of organizations and institutions. We will generalize the concept, but we will see what are the negative impacts of global trade tariffs on institutions and companies. So when we say the impacts, we will be meaning about the negative impacts mostly. So let's discuss about the negative impacts of the global trade tariffs on the organizations and institutions. So first of all, the organizations and institutions face the increased import cost. Those organizations and institutions that are dependent on the raw material purchases from different other countries to manufacture their own products and then sell those products in the local as well as global markets will face increased import cost in the form of import duty. And when the cost of import is increased, it means that the overall manufacturing cost of the company is increased, and it affects on the selling price of the products of that company, and buyer will hesitate to purchase the products on higher cost. Therefore the overall sales and profitability of the organization or institution will be affected. Then we have the disrupted supply chains. When the global trade tariffs are imposed, the supply chains are usually disrupted because companies and institutions try to buy the products or raw materials from the sources that provide at cheaper rate or with some incentives. So the incentive may be given by the local manufacturer or some external provider. So the organizations then have to face the supply chain disruption that ultimately cause the operational losses for the institution, because organizations and institutions have set their supply chains, and if the supply chains get disrupted, then the overall operations of the organization will be disrupted. Another negative impact of the global trade tariffs is the sudden changes in production and sourcing strategies, because due to the increase in import costs and disrupted supply chains, the management takes decision for alternative production and sourcing strategies, because ultimately the organization has to produce the good or services should be provided to maintain the sales revenues and profitability. So the production and sourcing strategies will be changed, and it will take few months or even years to settle down if the production and sourcing strategies are changed. You can think of any big brand in the world. Suppose if the head office of that brand is in some developed country, like for example Singapore, and that company shifts the production and sourcing requirements to some third world country, then it will be having some negative impacts over a period of years, because movement of the production facilities from one country to another is not uh, an easy task for the big brands. Another negative impact of global trade tariffs is the increased level of inflation. Obviously, when the import cost is increased, supply chains are disrupted, then the economy will face the overall inflation, and trade war results in the increased level of inflation that causes the loss of employment, because organizations and institutions cut their cost, and the inflation affects on the buying behavior of the citizens and people. So these ultimately affect on the profitability of the companies and organizations. Then we also see some non-compliances of applicable regulations, because the regulations that are applicable before global trade tariffs does not usually contain the elements or negative effects of the global trade tariffs and related compliance requirements. Therefore, when the global trade tariffs are imposed, the authorities of each institution, or you can say the authorities of each country, should revisit their applicable laws and regulations and revise them or amend them to manage the sudden changes in the economy and at the institution levels due to the global trade tariffs. Now let's discuss what institutions and operational risk management professionals do in the global trade tariff conditions. So these are some of the suggested points for companies and institutions. Before discussing these, if you have not subscribed this channel, please subscribe this channel and press the bell icon button as well, and that is given below, and you will get the notifications of the videos accordingly. So on this channel, the governance, compliance, risk management, data, privacy, security, operational risk management, and these types of videos, conceptual and educational purposes videos are uploaded. So if you want to learn these concepts and stay updated, so please subscribe and press the bell icon button. And I will highly appreciate if you please share the videos with your circle or relevant people who are in the governance, risk management, and compliance domains. That will be a great help for me and will provide me motivation to develop more such videos. So let's discuss what organizations and institutions should do at their individual levels. So the organizations and institutions that are dependent on the imported raw materials should increase their dependency on the locally manufactured raw materials, and they should have the strategy that is towards the less dependency on the imported items, because ultimately production cost should be controlled and the sales prices should be controlled to remain competitive in the market. Then we have the developing local supply chain strategy. Organizations and institutions should try to develop the local infrastructures and should develop the supply chains locally or collaborate with local supply chains. Local production and sourcing strategies should also be revisited, and all those production and sourcing requirements that were fulfilled by the organization and institutions with the help of some developed countries should be shifted to some underdeveloped countries to control the cost. Further, the organizations and institutions should revisit their overall cost structure, and excess cost avenues should be curtailed or shut down if they are not productive or efficient. Improved employment strategies should be implemented, where the organizations should review the overall human resource management practices and should shuffle the employees, and to ensure that each and every employee is productive and the relevant employees are doing the relevant jobs for increased productivity and efficiency. Further, restructuring and introducing new regulations for compliances would be required at the authority levels usually, and the new regulations should be in accordance with the negative effects of the global trade tariffs on the country level as well as on the organizations and institutions level. And the management and operational risk management professionals should ensure that new laws and regulations that are issued and implemented by the authorities, relevant authorities, are complied with. So these are some broader level suggested strategies for organizations and institutions in the conditions of global trade tariffs and its negative effects. So I would recommend to check my playlist where more videos are uploaded related to governance, risk management, and compliance. And thank you for watching. Please subscribe this channel and press the bell icon button. Let's meet in the next video.